What's up guys, Evergreen Fly Guy here. I'm going to do another fly tying video tonight. Seems to be the normal trend until stuff gets a little warmer and I can go out and fishing again. So today we're going to do let me grab one of the ones I did earlier. A Swimmy Jimmy, and this is a Kelly Gallup fly. It's a streamer fly, and this is the one I did in this exact pattern. It's the baby trout one. It's a olive green and a white and some pink. Really nice. It's got some flash in there. I kind of got crazy and messed around and did this one. It's just kind of pink and black. Not the greatest looking, but in this one we're actually going to be using some tan marabou instead of the white, because I ran out of white because I've just been using it for everything lately, and to save my life I can't find it anywhere. I've checked 3 stores, one of my local fly shops, Cabela's, and Bass Pro. No white marabou, no white deer belly. So let me get into the specifics of what we're using here, and I'll show you what I've had to substitute and replace to get that fly. So let's get started. So talking hooks, I actually found the exact hooks that I think work great. So I got some Kamigatsu size 6, and this is the saltwater series. It's a nice stainless hook. For the next we have some streamer hook size 2, and you do need to bend the head, which I've already done. It's actually incredibly simple. If you think you're strong enough and brave enough to try to mess with that point, you could bend it with your fingers using your thumb. I have just a bench vise that I just took it over there too, and I just bent it with my thumb. Very simple. My table is a mess. My dog, literally an hour before I came in here, decided to come in here and grab all my hair that I left out and just chew it into different pieces. So everything's in a pile here, and that's kind of annoying. So like I said, I couldn't find any white deer belly, so this actually used, before my dog chewed into 1,000 pieces, it was a bucktail. And you know, whitetail, deer tail obviously has white in it, so I've just took a white off of here and trimmed it down so it would fit for our fly, as I did on this one, and it worked just fine. You see the 2 colors are still great. I got some olive green deer hair body there. I have some standard deer hair, which we're not going to use in this one, I don't think. I think we'll just keep it with the olive and try the tan marabou here. It might not look exactly right, and it might not even look fishable, but it gets the point to show the fly we're tying. We're also using some pink marabou and olive marabou. And our thread, I can't remember what it is. I think it's a GPU, something like that. 100. And I actually got a new bobbin, and I love this thing because it's so much easier to use than the other one, where you hook it up with the twist thing there, and this is just so light, it's easy to twist. And I got the info for it right here if anybody's interested. It's right bobbin, and it just shows you what it's got. This is the standard model, and it just shows you how to use it. Most of you, if you're here, you know how to use a bobbin already. And we have a little crystal flash that I'm going to throw in for a little flash on the tail, just to add a little more thing to it. I'll go ahead and link the original Kelly Gallup video in there so you can see exactly how he does it. I followed pretty true to how he does it. Pretty true. Like I said, we're going to be changing up a few things to fit what I have. Oh, also forgot, I got some fish skull, and these are the living eyes, the ice. The ice has a really nice flash to it, if you can see that in there. It's really cool. It looks good on them, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this set up, and then I'm going to hop back to you guys. Alright guys, I'm just going to shuffle some stuff around here, try to use this light for a little extra light on the hook, so you guys can see exactly what's going on. So what we have to start with is our size 6 hook. We're going to work this tail back, and again I apologize because I forgot to mention as well, I have some red beads that I don't have a brand name to them because I recycled them off some old jointed flies I had that I apparently think I will never use until I decide I need to use them, and bam, I don't have them. Isn't that how it goes? Nah, just some red beads, and we're gonna use the red hairline intruder wire that I used when I was doing my hobo spays and our bait fish pattern we did, the Liliute Mana or whatever it's called. So I'm just gonna take some of this thread and just put a little down on the hook shank here. Really simple starting out, no big deal. Just building a little thread base to the thing here. Alright, I'm going to trim off my tag. Push that up just a hair. There we go. I'm going to come down a little bit more. Thought I was good. Where was that? Okay, that's good now. Now, this is where you would take your white marabou, but we're going to take our tan. And I'm going to try to find 3 decent, not too big, not too small plumes here. Of course, whenever you get going and you don't have much left, you just got to choose what you think's best. Luckily for us, this is pretty fresh marabou, so we'll choose the best ones to start with. I'm just going to pull all the excess and stuff I don't need out of here. You don't have to do this, but I always like to trim this really hard taggy parts off of it. I think it makes it turn better for what we're about to do. Alright, so now I'm going to take it and I'm going to, my thread's already spinning, so I don't necessarily need to do that. And I'm going to give it a couple of real good tight tie-ins right here at the base. That's about 4. You really only need to do 2, but did a little extra because you know why not. Oh. And I like to trim off this little hard base stuff that sticks behind. Again, you don't have to. You can fold it in there. I folded it on some of the flies I've tied before, but generally speaking, I like to keep it off. All right, now we're gonna start just wrapping this around. Now, if you got some hackle pliers, I would say use the hackle pliers. Oh, I better stop for just a second. I'm spinning here. Not doing myself any good, so get a little bit of a tie down. Like I was saying, if you got hackle pliers, use some hackle pliers. I have hackle pliers. I just don't want to dig them out. So, when I don't have the hackle pliers, as I'm spinning this, I'm just kind of pulling the fibers back as I'm twisting it. And you can twist it down on itself. You can try to keep it tight though, because we have to tie in 3 plumes here. 3 of the tan and 1 of our olive. So you don't want to go too crazy with your spacing. But if you think you can make it fit, then you just go right ahead and space it how you want it. It's your fly. I'm not going to tell you how to tie it. I think I went a little bit too far forward, but that's okay. We can double back on ourselves right here and make up for it. Alright. I left my thread back there, but I think I'm okay. Now I'm tying this back onto itself a little bit just to kind of keep it held real tight right there. Now I'm just gathering all these fibers from it and I'm pulling it out to the back. And reel back on it a little bit more to keep it back farther. Oh yeah, that looks great right there. Tied together. Real tight. There we go. Real tight. It's a good looking tail. Alright. Now I'm just going to feel out another here, decide which one I want to use. Alright. Now this is a pretty full feather, obviously. It's still got kind of a hard stem, so we'll have to watch out for that. And I'm going to tie it in just the very same way, just up against the next one. You can leave a gap. It doesn't hurt to leave a gap by any means. Especially if you have the room. Better walk this guy out of the way. I didn't do it last time. Excuse me. Getting all this stuff in my mouth. So much stuff off of it. Oh, this is looking good. I'm just pulling it all back as I go. Don't try to rush this fly. This is a long fly, so this will probably be a long video. Apologies in advance. But it's a really cool fly. Alright. We're getting it where we want it. I don't think the brown will look bad. Or sorry, I don't think the tan will look bad at all. I think it'll kind of give it a little bit, maybe more of a brown trout look to it, but it could just be like a dirty rainbow. Maybe we can call it that. Maybe we can call it the dirty rainbow. Something like that, you know. I'm trying to keep all this up here, but there's so much to that plume. I'm trying to leave enough room to tie in another. I'm just gonna work this thread back. As you can see, I've left enough room for one more plume in there. That's going to be our olive plume. Alright, now I'm just going to let that ride for a minute, and we're just going to pull it out. It's always what I do, because you're going to get some of it caught no matter what you do. So, just kind of fluff it out. Then once I know I have all my fibers free and untwisted and stuff, I just take like my fingers and slick it back and try to give it a little bit of form while we're working with the rest of it here. Keep it all out of the way. Now if you got a grease or something like that, or apologies, not grease, but I don't know the name of it. That wax stuff. You could use that as well. There we go. It's nice and slick back. I'm gonna grab a piece of our olive right here. Just a good piece. You don't need anything massive. Don't do anything massive, but just a good solid piece. Because this is gonna be a continuous thing throughout the fly, so we need to represent our olive well here. And I'm struggling to find a piece. This is a brand new pack too, so I know there's good pieces in here. It's just kind of short stuff. Oh no, a lot of short stuff. Alright, that's not how much we did. Alright, this piece should work fine. Now, we're not wrapping this olive, so don't really worry about wrapping it per se. So, I'm going to turn this on the side, because this needs to go to the side. Some stuff. Glad I got a hold of that. Didn't want that coming out on us. Alright. Now that kind of looks junky up there at our eyelid, and that's fine for now. I'm going to cut it out. And this marabou is a little bit difficult to work with when it's wet. That is something I've noticed. And this stuff gets everywhere. But it's great material. I use marabou on all sorts of stuff. I think it's slowly became my favorite material to tie with. Shoosh. Still got a bunch of puffiness up there. I'm hoping that'll dry and we can trim it. That's what I'm hoping. Now I'm just cranking down here a little bit, trying to shape this up so a little bit more But as it sits now, this is really all we need for our tailpiece. Sorry, I'm trying to situate that green to one side or another. When you tie it to the side, it seems like it always moves back to the center on me a little bit. All right, now I'm going to take my other pair of scissors over here. I got an older pair of scissors, and I'm going to cut off me a chunk of this red intruder wire here. You don't need much. You take 2 or 3 inches. I'd say this is, I think that's about 4 inches of wire right there, and that's all you really need. Now that I've gave that a second to dry, I'm gonna see if I can trim some more off of it. That way it's not so bulky. That's what happens when you get too many of the stems and stuff down in there. It's not always a really big deal. I could leave it just like this. I just like stuff to be real tidy. It's just the stem of it right in there being a nuisance. Okay. Trim up some stuff here. Oh gosh, I just cut a couple of those fibers. That's annoying. All right. Now, we're pretty much done with this piece. As soon as I can locate my utensils, so like I said, my scattered everywhere. We're gonna finish this and tie it off. I'm just putting all this on the head there. 4 is enough. I'm just gonna do a few just to build it up on the end here a little bit more. Never hurts to be overly cautious. There we go. Trim my string off here. I'll take a little cement and dab it up here. There we go. Now we're going to take that intruder wire, and I got a little glue in my eyelid there, but that's okay. And you see we have, hope that's showing that good. Better double check. Okay, yeah, that's showing that good. Got our intruder wire here. I'm just going to take those beads you saw earlier, and I'm just going to use 2 of them because I got 2 bigger sized ones. I got 2 smaller sized ones and 2 bigger sized ones. I'm going to do just 2 because they're bigger beads. But I might do 3, I don't know. Let me just get these on here and I'll take a guess at what we might need to do. You know what, that's not bad, but why not? Yeah. Let's do 3. There we go, 3 beads, I'll scoot that down. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna leave that vise, and I'm just gonna set it over to the side for a little bit. It's gonna come back into play very shortly. But we're gonna go ahead and take our next hook, the one I pre-bent at the neck. And so if I had to guess about that neck, I'd say that's, oh, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 maybe. I don't know. It's not much at all. In his video, it doesn't actually say, I don't think he says the bend on it. Maybe he says like, what's it, like 3/8 maybe? I don't know. I feel like I'm attesting to something he didn't say. But you can tell, he says, oh, that's what he says. He says to base it off the head of the previous one. And obviously I didn't have a previous one to go off of like they do at their shop. I just made one and guessed at the size. And the head came off pretty well. So I think where that sets now is good. You'll see as we continue on with this fly. where that's going to come and play. And now what I'm doing here is I'm just laying a base of thread on this streamer hook, and throughout this whole thing I poke myself in the finger so much with these hooks, so be aware of that as you're going. I mean, I don't know if it's avoidable if you were like super careful the entire time, but as I'm like moving and tying, there's just like no way for me to keep from not getting those. So I just trimmed off the tag there. So now our trailer comes back into play. Now you need to take this and separate your two ends here and put them on either side of the hook. And you want these beads setting just behind the hook shank, just to where they, like, not touching necessarily, but just behind them. So pretty sure that's where I want them at. So now I wrapped over, but I didn't exactly like choke it down and tie it in yet. I wrapped over just so I could grab a hold of these. And I've tried to find the best way to do this to keep them apart, but the best way is to just kind of keep your thumb and fingers on it and just keep messing with it and adjusting it if you need to, because it is actually really difficult to keep these two ends separated. But to get this thing fishing how you want it, you really need to keep these two ends on separate sides. And also, in all honesty, the intruder wire I'm using probably isn't the best. It probably could have used a thinner wire that's more like easy to maneuver, but I don't think you're going wrong taking a little extra precaution and using this really sturdy intruder wire. This stuff's great. I really like working with it for the most part. It's just because it has a really nice color, that wine red, candy red to it. It's more like a candy red than a wine red. It goes perfect on anything like pink, purple, or red I'm doing. And then it comes in great in this case too, if you if you got something that needs wire and you don't have any regular wire and you're cheap like me and don't want to buy any. Okay, so I've got these pretty well and on their respective sides. If you need to, you just keep pushing them back over as you're tying them in. I mean, until you're set, you got all. It's easy to play with. You can even pull the both ends if you take like a pair of pliers. I wouldn't try to use your hand because I kept slipping off. But you take a pair of pliers, you can pull them through a little bit more if you need to. I had to do that. And I did my first one to even these up right. Okay. Now I'm just coming all the way back here. Trying to keep it tight. Also watching the tip of that hook. You really don't want to get your thread past the tip of that hook. It'll cut it. Especially with this brand of hooks, they're very sharp hooks. I'll take my old beat up scissors here and I'm gonna try to cut these off as clean as possible. You see how durable they are. They'll tear a pair of scissors up. That's why you really need to use some old scissors. I'm gonna come back up here and I'm gonna push those ends back on their side because they will come back to try to meet together whenever you're tying, or you're trying to trim the ends off, sorry. Alright, let me work my way back to the back here, and we're gonna go ahead and do an extra precautionary step. Is that right where I want that? Yeah, that's good right there. I'm gonna take some more of my my glue here, and I'm just gonna take it across this thread here. I went kind of heavy there, but it's okay. This is just for extra security. When you're fishing this, all this is holding together. By the time you put all of the thread and stuff together, you don't even need to worry about. You don't need to worry about that pulling. That's not going to pull off. And I mean, it would take some serious strength. you will probably, if you're like me and you have a pretty basic vise, you're gonna have to keep moving this tail out of the way, this trailer out of the way. It's interesting because it is kind of a rotary vise. It's not a smooth one. I have been passively looking to get a new vise, but it's not top of my priority list, and I like this one. I just now got a new bobbin and I really enjoy it, so I showed it to you guys. So next step here, I was just filling a little time. We're gonna take and we're gonna get all this crap off the bottom here. We're gonna be left with a nice, good, solid plume of our tan marabou. Stripping it right there. I'm gonna take off its little stem thing a little bit more. See, that's the perfect piece you want to look for when you're doing this. Nice thin stem that's easy to bend, wispy, it's got a lot of room to it. So, same thing as last time. I'm gonna try to grab it from the bottom here, lock it in real good, walk my thread here forward. Don't get it caught in our trailer. Try not to. Gosh, I wish there was a better spot to put you. Right. And I'm gonna just turn up and around it. And now, I found whenever, if you're not using the hackle pliers, to just grab the tip of it like you would with the hackle pliers and just go around. Now, if you have a rotary vise, you could just take it around using the rotary thing. And I could too here with this. But personally, it's not stable enough in my opinion. I love my vise and all, but I'm more stable with my hands than I am with trying to turn the vise and stuff, so I'm going to use my hands. And just same thing as it is on the tail, we're fitting in 3 plumes here. So make sure you save room for the 3 plumes. There we go, almost there. I don't know if I can get one more around that. Yeah, I can, okay. Now I'm gonna try to get all that back. It's best you keep this, try to keep it pushed back as much as possible. Keep it out of your thread. That's gonna look better. It's gonna make it easier. Now I'm just cranking back on it a little bit here. That way, just like I said previously, when you unlet it go and you fluff it all back, look at all that, just turn it out of there. And you just push it back like that, you know, it looks so much better. Matter of fact, I think I'll take it back just a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. Then you can sit there and you can fizz it all out and get it all how you want. Whoop, hook myself again. I've been double hooking myself back to back here with this stuff. Both these hooks are incredibly sharp, great hooks. So if a fish hits that, it's gonna get stuck. My finger goes near it, it's already stuck. I'm just searching for another plume here, another good soft plume, nothing crazy or big. Trying to stay away from the ones with the real tough stems, stuff I can bend real easy. Just picking it off the marabou here. Now this one kind of does have a tough stem to it, but I'm going to cut the stem down, and it'll be much easier to work with at this point. Get rid of all the crud from the bottom before I take it over there. Don't want anything in our way, anything loose, not useful to what we're doing. There we go. Now you can see it's a much thinner stem, much easier to use. If you need to, you can go ahead and wet your fingers again to get that, to keep this out of the way. I'm gonna do that because I really don't want any of this pressed up and it doing circles in the thread or anything, restricting us when we get farther in here. better safe than sorry, especially when you're doing such a big fly with so many feathers and intricate parts. You just want it to go as smooth as possible. Now you can leave a little bit of gap in between these two plumes, but I'm going to try to keep it tight as possible because, like I said, we are fitting 3 plumes in total in here. So take it to the bottom there, real tight, real tight, because I'm going to be twisting it up the shank of this hook. There we go. Take it around, pulling it back as I go. This is an incredibly messy fly. You saw my table. I mean, yeah, my dog did not help the situation there, but it was pretty messy to start with, thanks to all this marabou and deer hair we're going to be working with. I'm just working it the same way, all the way up. All the way up. Almost there. We just got the tip of our feather left here. You see I'm still pushing it back as I go. Watch that streamer hook tip, because every time I go to push this back, I hit that streamer hook. And I know it's there, I still just do it. If it makes you wonder about the feathers getting in the way if you catch a fish or of a hook set, I don't think you need to worry at all. Because if you're building this fly and you're getting pricked as many times as I am by this hook, you realize that whenever they hit this thing, they're gonna feel that hook. They're gonna get hooked. That's a good hook. Very good hook. Very good hooks. Alright. Like I've done all the previous parts we put on here, I'm just pushing the feathers back, untangling them and pushing them back. Now, one more of our tan marabou plumes is going to go on here. As soon as I trim up a little piece here. I'm not doing this piece as big. And that's okay, because we don't really need it for that much. And I'm just going to put this guy forward a little bit. Now I'm going to just twist onto it. Same as we were doing. Just number 3. Now, if you've been confused about my math or anything on the plumes, I'm going to link everything in the description, and I'm going to link the original video. That way you can see it from the master of these streamers. And you know what I'm doing here? I'm just wrapping back on it to keep our feathers all pointed the same way. I love this new bobbin. It's so easy to use. My other one was good too, don't get me wrong, but it's good to have something else. And you know, I think that bobbin was only, this current bobbin was only $25, which is not bad at all. Alright, now it's time once again for some olive. Okay. Now for the olive, we have to tie it in onto the side here, like I did on the previous one. I'm sorry you guys can't see this side, but what all I'm doing right here is I'm just looking at the fly, pressing all this back, and I'm laying this in it because I want to make sure it overlaps into the net, to the other plume of it, like one continuous piece. So, but before I do that, now you can do the flash in the tail. You can do the flash in just the tail section. Me, what I've been doing is I've been just kind of, I've taken about 4 strands, and I just kind of, I half them, what I think is about half, and I'll just come in right here before I do this last strand of marabou, or not marabou, sorry. Gosh, I'm at a loss of words. And I'll kind of tie them in. Just a basic, simple little tie in here, nothing crazy. Sheesh, get fibers going everywhere. And you can just take them to one side or the other. And then I come and I put them a little bit shorter than the body, the tail to the body. And those will start just kind of going their own way. I put one to one side and one to the other. And we're about to tie in this next piece of marabou, so it's okay. Now I'm gonna flip it to the side. I'm gonna make sure this is leading into the next piece, and we're gonna tie it down to the side here, to the side. It wants to pull a different direction. You need to situate it to the side. Seems like no matter what I do, I always have a pull back on top. That's probably caused by something. There we go. I've just trimmed off that piece of stuff right there at the top. Keeping that good. Oh, caught some feathers. There we go. To the side there. I'm gonna come back over here and make sure it's all blending still good together. That's looking good. It's looking real good. Good blend straight to the back, just like I like it. Now we begin the fun part. And this is the part I don't like. I'm sure I'll come to enjoy more of this as I practice a little bit more with it. But we're gonna get, as soon as I get this trimmed how I like it, we're gonna get into the deer hair. All right, so for your deer hair, you're gonna need a little olive body, and you're gonna need some white. So I got like a little sprig of white my dog so kindly separated already for me here. I got a few sprigs of it, and I'm gonna cut a good chunk of this white. So let me go ahead and cut all this and get it situated. So for the tail here, it's kind of long compared to the body. So what I'll do is I'll take my stacker and I'll put it in the stacker. Sorry, I need the 2 hands there. And now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm just gonna trim, I'm gonna leave like a couple inches to it. And I'm just gonna trim it off. Because it's like it is, it's too longer than we need it to be. So I'm gonna get it out of the hair stacker, and I'm gonna clean out the bottom of it. You can do it with a comb. I get a good grip on this hand, and I just kind of feel for any loose fibers or anything at the bottom. And that's good and tied out now. So now we're gonna measure it for the head. So, actually, sorry. We're gonna turn it to the side. And we're gonna turn it to the side with the white first, because this is the white, it's gonna be with the white. So now we have it sideways. I'm gonna measure, and I'm gonna find how long I think I want the head to be. Now I'm gonna come back up here, and I'm gonna trim that. So I got like about 1 inch left. Alright guys, had a little bit of a technical difficulty. A camera died on us. I thought 50% was enough. I guess I was wrong. It's okay. So, you guys saw me whip finish. I think I got that off before we shut down. At this point, you see we have our green blending together. We have our white blending together. We got our flash on there. So, now we're going to do some shaping. And to do that, you need a blade like this. I tried to find a way around it and I couldn't. Sharp knife wouldn't work. Box cutter wouldn't work. You need to be able to bend that just like that. So we're gonna start on the bottom, and the bottom is gonna be simple because it's just gonna be flat. We're just gonna take this, and this is a pretty fresh one. Just taking it, and we're just gonna shave that bottom flat. You might run into a little marabou there. Honestly, we got so much marabou on there. If we lost a little bit, it wouldn't be not be the end of this fly by any means. Top. The top is exactly why we need the razor blade. So you're gonna take, I just bend it just like that, and the bend is gonna be on you. And I want to show you guys that more. And I'm just gonna come up right here, and I'm just gonna shave it just like that. Just get a round feel to it. Now you can take and you can knock all this out. I got a little trash bag over here. I've been trying to keep the clutter of fly tying down. And I'm shaving it to what I think looks good. You shape this head to what you think looks good. So if you want more length over here on the side, you do that. This is your fly. You build it how you want it. You know what? Next time I do this, I have some standard bucktail, and I think that standard bucktail is going to look real good with that tan. That'll be the second one. The second one with the tan I do. The white's not killing it. It's not throwing it off or anything by any means. Actually, I could have just used some regular brown bucktail right here. That would have looked good. Oh gosh, next time guys. Next fly, check it out on the Instagram. Gonna be doing it. Gonna do the brown bucktail with the tan with the olive. Now I'm just trimming this a little bit more because I like to try to keep it even. Just even it up all around. Don't go too deep. Don't go too crazy with it. Unless you want to. Like I said, it's your fly, not mine. Alright. I think I'm good. I see a straggler piece. If you got like a long piece that's hanging off like that, and you know it might be better. This is what I've just been doing. I've just been grabbing I grab my scissors and cut it off. That little razor blade's a little bit hard to get used to because it cuts like butter. I used to use a single blade to shave all the time. I got the best shave out of it, but my face got too sensitive for it. So, last step. As soon as I get them out of my mess here, we're gonna attach our eyes. So, one side's gonna go on your white, one side's gonna go on the green. So with these eyes, they're already they come sticky already. So what I do is I place my eye, I'm doing this side first, and then I've got my eye placed, that's a good spot for it, and I go over it with a little extra glue. Honestly, I've never used a fly with a glue-on eye, at least that I can remember. Actually, I take that back. I'm sure I have. Now, you guys can see it especially a whole lot better. I just poked that eye on, and then I glued it where I wanted it. And now I had a little bit of the gap, which I'm sure you guys saw better throughout the video because you were on the white side of this, between my white here where the string went through. And I'm going to try to put my eye on that. If I can, which I should be able to, especially once I put a little glue down. It's falling off with my small fibers here. So far, with working with the glue-on eyes, I'm not a big fan of glue-on eyes. I think I prefer dumbbell eyes. Dumbbells for dummy. I just hit the camera, I think. What I'm trying to do is just put a little bit of glue on it and have it come off on my finger. Just kidding. I was trying to put some glue on it and keep it on that side, but it is fighting me. It's going to be cockeyed if I don't fix this. Jeez. Come on now. Don't fight me too much. There we go. Now, I'll coat it with some more glue. That way I know it's going to stay real well. Alright, now there you go. See, I put that on that little bit of a crack we had in there. Now that's going to dry your eyes on there and keep them extra secure. And that is our Swimmy Jimmy custom. Custom, of course, because it's done by me and I gotta substitute stuff in because it just doesn't always go how you want when you go to buy fly supplies. I really should order off the internet. I don't know why I don't. I feel like I make excuses for not doing it on the internet. And I do have some awesome fly shops around here. Like the cotton candy concoction I came up with, the cotton candy nymph that I'm real proud of. I don't even know if it'll fish it, but I love it. I'll get back to that in just a second. So this is our Swimmy Jimmy. Wow, I'm just adjusting feathers and stuff right now on it. But you know, you can see how all the green flows together, that one green stripe. Then you have the white, or the tan in this instance. Next fly, I'm telling you, bucktail, next time, already on it. Brown bucktail with the tan. Keep the olive green. I think it'd kind of come out looking like a baby brown trout. That'd be the goal. But yeah, that's the point of it. It looks like it would function flawlessly. Also gonna do the pink in the middle on the next one. I have that other one right here. If I can disconnect it from the other fly that it's attached to. Sorry about that. So yeah, that's the first one I did in the original pattern. And I don't even know who I'm showing that to. Gosh. So again, there's the first one I did in the original pattern. The pink does break through a little bit right here because I took a little bit extra off the head there on that one. But other than that, it just looks good. And then this one came out really good too. I don't have anything bad to say about that one. I mean, they'll never be as perfect as Kelly Gallup's. But I think we still did good. So let me get everything set back up and I'll talk to you guys some more. Alright guys, that has been the Swimmy Jimmy. What a great name to that. That is a big streamer for predator fishes like brown trout, rainbow trout in a way, steelhead, bass, smallmouth. I'm sure you can use it for all sorts of stuff there. Maybe even some pike or muskie, I don't know. But it's a streamer that is kind of unique because it kind of sits on the water, on the top of the water instead of streaming under it. I can't wait to get out and try these out. I hope you found this video useful. If not, I'm sorry. Like I said, these aren't really supposed to be how-tos. I like to pretend like they're how-tos because I'm talking to myself more than I'm talking to you guys about it. I'm coaching myself through it. If you can use it as a how-to, good on you. Go for it. Before I go, I wanted to say thank you to the Puget Sound Fly Company out here. This is the fly store I've been going to since I moved out here, actually. I've just now started going back heavily, and they're so nice and they're so helpful whenever you're looking to tie stuff. The guys there are great. But every fly shop I've been out to here is great. I've been to like 2 or 3 others, one in Seattle, one in Gig Harbor, and they've all been super nice. Well, the guys in Gig Harbor even compiled me a little list of spots for just like creek fishing, because I told them, I was like, you know, I miss it back home. I miss dredging up the rivers. And they said, hold on, we'll take care of that. They gave me some wild trout rivers to caught. I already caught one of my first western slope cutthroats. I don't know if that's just cutthroat. I don't know. Just cutthroat trout. I don't know. I wish I got a picture of the dude, but I went out there unprepared without my net, and I caught him. I got him up to my feet. I went to go grab him with the hands, and I'm not supposed to with the hands, but sometimes it just has to happen. And he popped off. And that was the story with the second one. And then I called it a day because it got too rainy. That's enough fishing stories. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys' support. I appreciate all the interaction, the likes. But go catch some fish, guys.